Alright, so today we got a new trailer for The Walking Dead Destinies, and this is actually the release date trailer, right? And this trailer has been pretty anticipated by a lot of people because they announced the game like a month or two back, and then we didn't see anything about the game. So it's pretty cool. We actually got to see some gameplay, we actually got to see some new outcomes, and what this game is actually about. So yeah, today I'll be breaking down the trailer and just giving my own thoughts about it, so stay tuned. And now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. And I haven't uploaded in a couple of days now, and that is simply because it's actually midterms, right? And I actually have a couple of exams. Tomorrow is actually my last midterm exam, so I'll be getting done that, and I'll be working on another video. So yeah, just stay tuned, and yeah, that's the reason why I've been gone for a week. So yeah, enjoy the video. And now this trailer actually starts off with Rick walking in the hospital, and there is a glitch effect there also, and of course that just means that the outcome is different. And from what I actually see, it's still Rick, right? The character didn't change, right? It's still Rick walking through the hallway, right? And the different outcome here might be that what if Rick actually opened the door that actually says don't open dead inside, and it makes sense because they actually do zoom into that door. And it would actually be pretty cool to see that Rick actually going into that door and seeing the dead walkers that Paul actually ended up killing in The Oath, right? The web series, the webisode that they actually did release a couple of years back. And fun fact is that was actually the very first video on my channel, so if you guys want to check it out, if you guys want to see my very first video and the difference between me now and me back then, just please go check it out. And now the next part we see here is Carl actually facing that deer in season 2, and this is the moment where Carl actually gets shot by Otis. Now here the different outcome they actually do show later on, but so far it's the exact same as the show, right? Carl actually does get shot by Otis, right? The bullet goes through the deer or the buck, and then it actually does hit Carl. And then Rick actually does carry Carl, and he takes him to Herschel's farm. And then we actually do see later on that Herschel is doing the operation on Carl, as we see in season 2 of The Walking Dead. And then the interesting shot here afterwards we do see is that Carl dies, and that is actually pretty messed up, not gonna lie. But this outcome right here is very interesting because this might be linked with Shane somehow, right? Because we do see the grave Carl Grimes, right? So Carl does die from this outcome here. Now, how is this related to Shane? Now, it's pretty obvious how it's related to Shane is that when Shane and Otis actually go to the hospital to grab Carl's supplies, either Otis goes on his own, right, and then he's not able to make it, right? He gets eaten by the walkers, and they're not able to get the medical supplies needed to actually save Carl, or both Shane and Otis actually do end up dying. And how would that happen? I could see this happening where Shane and Otis are in the hospital, right, and then the walkers are coming. When Shane actually does shoot Otis, Otis probably grabs onto Shane, right, and then both of them get devoured by the walkers. And then that actually leads into Carl dying and bleeding out to death, because here we actually do see Herschel and Lori and Rick, right? We don't see anyone else at that grave. We don't see Shane at that grave, right? So it definitely makes sense that Shane is dead here. And again, how deep these outcomes could go is very surprising, right? Because the game itself, graphically, it doesn't look the best, right? It doesn't look like that it was there wasn't that much production value behind this game, but it's actually really cool to see that the developers of the game are actually fans of The Walking Dead, and they were actually going out their way to actually make these deep outcomes. And this is considering if Shane actually does die in that moment where he is with Otis in that school, and yeah, it'd be very cool to see that. And now the scene we actually do see after this is the same thing we saw in the first trailer, and that's if Rick died instead of Shane in that moment. And they actually do, like, you know, change the scene up here and there, right? You know, they show the real outcome, and then they show the, like, the outcome that you could actually choose, which is what if Rick died. So you could go with the show's outcome, or you could go with your own outcome and play as Shane later on. And yeah, you know, there's not really much to say here. We actually do hear, like, you know, Rick and Shane talking. So, you know, it's really interesting because I believe we do hear Shane crying, right? And again, like, you know, these aren't the actual voice actors from the show. These aren't the actual actors, right? This is not John Berthal, this is not Andrew Lincoln, right? These are completely different actors voicing these characters. But compared to the last trailer, in my opinion, I think the voice acting got a little bit better, right? I think they heard like, you know, the feedback from the fans, and in my opinion, I don't know, I think this trailer, they actually do sound a little bit more accurate. And now the scene after this we see is when Judith actually is born, right? And this is in season 3 of The Walking Dead, and then it actually switches between Maggie and Lori, right? So again, like, I believe I actually did say this in one of my theories video for this game, that what if Lori actually did end up surviving, right? And it's pretty obvious because she was on the cover of the game, and you actually do play as Lori, and it seems like that outcome is true, right? You could actually choose to save Lori somehow, and you actually do see, and it does look like that it switches between Shane and Rick, right? And this is not a Shane only outcome, this could be a Rick outcome as well, right? And this outcome right here of Lori surviving, I think with this outcome here, I think Carol is actually able to give Lori the operation in time to actually, for her to actually give birth to Judith on time, right? And safely as well. And we do see it switching between Maggie and Lori, and we do see it switching between Rick and Shane. And I think that the outcome where Lori does survive, Carol might actually die there. And again, like, maybe that's some sort of sacrificial role, right? And we do see later on in the trailer, later on in this trailer, that a big moment happens, and I'll be discussing that later. But yeah, this would probably be the outcome of what if Carol dies instead of T-Dog, right? And this could be, in a sense, how T-Dog actually did sacrifice himself for Carol. Maybe Carol sacrifices herself for Lori, Judith, and Carl. And now the scene after this we see is Shane in Rick's murder jacket and with a big beard, and this is still in the prison, right? This could either be in Terminus or in the prison. I'm not too sure what to say about that, but if I were to guess, it would probably be the prison, right? Because Maggie, Carl, and Daryl, they're wearing those clothes as well. But again, like, I could be wrong there because Carl is a little taller, right? And again, Shane does have the big beard, he has the murder jacket, so this could very well be in Terminus, right? You know, I'm not too sure what to make of this, but the main thing to say here is that Shane is their leader, right? Shane is leading the whole group, and he has the murder beard, he has the murder jacket. So this could be like you know, some sort of outcome where if this is the prison, this could be an outcome of what if the governor actually did end up turning good, or, you know, if the governor actually, you know, stayed bad, and, you know, if he killed Herschel and then he forced them out of the prison. This could very well be in Terminus and them walking out of Terminus, or this could be some sort of outcome that where it actually does follow the show pretty accurately, like you know, them being like on a gunpoint from like the people of Terminus, and then they're actually forced to go in the carts. But the thing that's confusing me here is that I think that beside Carl, that is actually Lori right there. That could be Maggie or Lori, right? Because again, like, the graphics of the game are not the best, but, you know, I'm guessing that that's Lori, right? Now that I look at it a little closer. So yeah, this outcome right here, Lori does survive and Carl grows up. So this is probably around season 4 of The Walking Dead. And then after this, we actually do get some gameplay stuff, and it looks like you could actually play as Herschel, right? And you know, by the looks of it, that does look like that's Herschel crawling there, right? So again, like, you know, I did say this in another theories video. I think it was my latest theories video for this game, and that they actually did not reveal every character that you could play as, right? You could, and it does look like that came true, right? It looks like that they didn't reveal which like all of the characters you could play. Probably you could play as like Maggie as well. You could play as probably Dale, right? And the weird thing here is that Dale and Morgan are not in any of these trailers, right? Which is very, very weird. But you know, for sure they're gonna show up in this game somehow. And looks like right here that Herschel is actually sneaking around, and this is in the prison. So this could be some sort of outcome that what if Herschel did not lose his foot, and if he didn't get bit, and if they go for the comic route, and if Dale actually does end up surviving in, like, you know, some sort of outcome, like, you know, let's say the outcome where Carl ends up dying, Dale survives, right? Because Carl is actually the one that did not kill that walker. So like, but again, like the walker actually did end up moving and escaping its, or like the mud, because of Carl, right? Because Carl was actually, like, you know, throwing stuff at it, and he was like, the walker wanted to come to Carl, right? So then it actually broke free. So again, if Carl is dead, then that means Dale survives, and here they could go through that, they could go with that comic route of Dale losing his foot instead of Herschel. And then, you know, they just show like some more gameplay stuff right here, and you know, this is not really so significant, right? They show some T-Dog stuff, and they show like some combat, and also they show, like, you know, some shooting stuff. They show some Glenn stuff, right? But the weird thing here is that when they actually showed the part where I think Rick is actually shooting a barrel full of gasoline, it blows up, and a bunch of walkers, like, you know, even they blow up in the process, but then the frame rate drops like crazy, right? I don't know if that's like an effect for the trailer, or if the frame rate is really dropping. I hope that's not the case for when the game actually does come out, right? Because again, like, I'll be playing this on PS5, and also, and if it's on PS5 and the frame rate drops like crazy, then that's a big problem right there. And then the coolest part of this trailer actually does come at the end, and it shows Merle, right? You know, is like, you know, Merle talking, and then it actually switches to T-Dog, and it shows T-Dog, like, you know, he actually grew out his hair, and he has the hook for his hand, right? He has the prosthetic hand. So this outcome right here is very, very weird, right? And you know, what if T-Dog was in Merle's place, right? And this is, of course, the outcome of what if Merle actually did get off that rooftop, and T-Dog is the one that stayed there. But, you know, who would actually, like, handcuff T-Dog on that roof? It's most likely Rick, right? But then what would T-Dog say, right? Do you actually take control of T-Dog in that moment, and you actually choose what he says, and then Rick is actually forced to, like, you know, handcuff T-Dog onto that rooftop? That would actually be pretty cool. But yeah, you know, this is definitely the outcome of what if Merle actually did, and, like, you know, make it out of that rooftop. And yeah, like, you know, it'd be very, very, it'd actually be very cool to see, because, like, again, like, Merle, like, you know, I imagine his gameplay being like with his prosthetic hand, with his hook, like, you know, for a hand. And, you know, if that changes, right, you know, if you play as Merle normally, and then you get to play as T-Dog with the hook hand, it would just be very cool to see. And, you know, T-Dog with the governor, right? Because T-Dog was the character that was one of the characters that actually did not end up meeting the governor. So yeah, like, it actually be very, very, very cool to see, like, you know, T-Dog actually working with the governor and being his right-hand man in this situation right here. And also, like seeing T-Dog actually going out for Merle, right? And what if, like, T-Dog actually does end up killing Merle, right? Because as we actually do see in the Walking Dead show, T-Dog actually does end up dying before they actually meet Merle again. So what if Merle actually does end up surviving the prison arc, and then he actually comes face to face with T-Dog, and then T-Dog is actually the one out for Merle? That would be very cool to see. And, you know, just these interactions and these what ifs are insanely cool. And then at the end of this trailer, we actually do get an official release date, which is November the 17th, and that means that this game is only a few weeks away, right? It's like a little less than a month, right? And am I excited for this game? Of course I'm excited for this game, right? Because again, it's a Walking Dead game, and I've been wanting a game like this for a while based off the show, right? And the whole what if scenarios and stuff like that. Do I wish that the graphics were better? Of course I wish the graphics were better. I wish that the models were better, right? Because they do look like toys, and you know, the game looks really weird in my opinion, but some shots here and there look really really good. Like for example, like when Carl was actually staring at that buck or deer, right? You know, the scenery from there actually does look amazing, right, with the sunset in the back. And for sure, like, you know, that deer actually does look much better than season 8's deer that they had, like the CGI deer. But you know, going back to the game, do I think the gameplay looks fun? The gameplay looks okay, right? And you know, for what this game is, it looks okay. It looks like that they did the most with whatever a budget they got, right? You know, with whatever money they had, you know, they actually did do their best, right? And you could actually see the passion behind this, right, with like the different outcomes and how true they are to the characters, right? You know, like switching T-Dog to Merle, right? You know, T-Dog having Merle's personality, and you know, just on a side note, Merle actually does sound like Michael Rooker, right? So again, I wouldn't be surprised if like Michael Rooker actually does end up coming back to actually voice Merle in this game, because it actually does sound pretty accurate. But yeah, I'll be playing this game, and you know, just comment down if you guys want to see, you know, some gameplay on this channel, right? And I'll play through on this game. I'll be going through the different outcomes, and yeah, like I'm thinking about doing a live, right? So then, you know, you guys could comment on the side and you just tell me which outcomes to do. But you know, again, like I don't know the whole the process of, you know, setting it up and recording the gameplay, so you know, I just gotta figure all of that out, right? Because again, like I'll be playing on my TV on the PS5, and you know, if I was playing on PC, then of course it'd be much more easier, but again, I'll be playing on console, so the process there is a bit more different. But yeah, you know, if you guys want to see a playthrough on this game, please comment down below. And now that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe, and thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And yeah, we have a goal in mind for 5,000 subscribers. So if you guys want to be part of this journey to 5,000 subscribers, please subscribe, like, and share the video. And also, again, like how I mentioned at the start of this video, like, you know, it's midterms, right? And I do have my, and at the time of this recording, my final midterm exam is actually tomorrow. So then I will be having a week break, and then I'll be going back to college. So yeah, you know, you guys could expect 2-3 new videos. And I just saw this trailer today. I was actually about to work on another video about the Walking Dead crossover show that was actually announced, right? And this was theorized a couple of times before in my videos, that one of the 3 spin-offs are going to be a Walking Dead crossover, and it actually did end up coming true. So yeah, I was about to work on that video, but then I saw this trailer and I was like, you know, I might as well make a video on this, right? Because then again, this is new, this is fresh, and there is a lot of hype behind this game, and you know, like as much hype as there could be for a game like this, right? So yeah, like, you know, you guys could be expecting a theories and speculation video next, right, in the next day or two. So yeah, just stay tuned for that. But yeah, other than that, thank you all so much for watching.